let's move from there to another newsmaker. We're getting lots of fine minds from the world of politics who really are their party's economic managers in a way. Jyotiraditya Scindia joins me. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Scindia. You might have heard both Mr. Chidambaram and Jayant Sinha, two very different viewpoints. I want to understand from you, do you concede that while all the criticism that the opposition is giving of the government, there appears to be a clear roadmap that Mr. Narendra Modi has? A welfareist budget is what he seems to project this as. Do you see this as a welfareist budget?
Rajdeep, India is ready for not incremental change. India is ready for monumental change. And India has been waiting for that monumental change for the last 5 years. The mandate that this government has got has been unprecedented. And I think the people of India expected an unprecedented budget which would herald change. A budget is an event. It talks about the path for the next 365 days. Post those 365 days, the world may change and that path may change. Now, what I heard in this budget today was more and more of incrementalism, but no monumentalism. What I heard in this budget today is maybe at best good intent, but very disappointing on content. And if you look at the scenario today in India, you are looking at a GDP growth rate that has fallen to a new low of 5.8% in the last quarter. You are looking at GST taxes that have fallen to a new low of 4.5%. You are looking at savings and investment growth, which are the two pillars of any economic growth engine across the world, at now new lows of 26% and 27%, way off their target of close to about 35%. You are looking at manufacturing as a share of GDP climbing by only 0.5% over the last 5 years. You're looking at agricultural growth, which albeit provides only 16% to GDP, but almost 65% of employment in our country at a new low of 2.9%. So if you look at the whole compendium and put in contrast also global trade war escalating, GDP going down, where is the new engine of growth going to come from? There's very little for farmers. There's very little for the middle class. There's very little for employment.
In the interim budget
Finally, this
ago,
government at least has admitted.
Mr. Scindia, the farmers were provided for
even 5 months ago. There is no,
they were provided cash handouts 5 months ago.
Not at all, Rajdeep. Rajdeep, I want to ask this government, what happened to the commitment to the Swaminathan committee report of 50% over the cost price of production? What happened to that commitment of this government? The farmers are still crying for C2, not A2 plus FL. And look at the MSP growth rates over the last 5 years. It's abysmally low at close to 6 to 6.5%. So farmers are today under dire stress. The youth are under dire stress. Finally, this government has admitted to the NSSO report of the highest ever joblessness and unemployment in the history of 45 years of India at 6.1%.
Let me ask you the question I asked Mr.
From the labor
Chidambaram.
force
What would you have done?
4.7 crores last year.
Sir, Mr. Scindia, we understand the problems. What are the solutions?
Organized labor is close to 3.7 crores.
The question I asked to the other opposition leaders, including
The
Mr. Chidambaram, what would you have done that the finance minister failed to do? It's a tough task. Many of the decisions that require what you call structural reforms are politically risky. We saw what happened with land acquisition in 2014.
But if you had a government like they have of 303, this is a time to take risks. If we had a government of 303, we would have taken those risks. Whether it has to do with increasing savings rates in India, putting in place incentives that increase investment, whether it's in R&D, whether it is in plant and machinery. Why is it that in UPA government time, you had an average decadal growth rate of 7.6% with a high of close to 12%? You had a farm growth rate, agricultural growth rate of close to 5%. which is now 2.9%.
Mr. Scindia,
So you
this is
need
not
to
about
be able
UPA.
to confront the challenges and come up with a rubric that will increase the confidence level in India.
Give me that-
Investors today in India, corporates are investing abroad.
give me that one reform.
What happened to start
work
up
with
India? What
corporate
happened to Make in India?
You work
You're
with
still importing all your defense machinery.
You work
What
with
I
corporate
would
India. I'm asking
what
you,
I
what
would,
is the-
what I would do. I have
Yes.
worked with corporate India, and what I would do is I would look at 6 or 7 verticals in India. Whether it be the service sector, manufacturing sector, I would call them in, ask them what is it that is required from government. We are an equal stakeholder in the nation's progress, as are you. We need to work together. Tell us what those pillars are. We will work at them to make sure that your confidence level in investing in India grows. You need to work together as a partner, not in an egalitarian manner, not in a hierarchical manner, which is what this government does.
Okay. I think we get a sense of where the
You
Congress
talk
at the
about their
moment.
stress on water. They have combined 2 ministries
Yes.
of irrigation as well as drinking water and sanitation, combined those 2 ministries together and slashed the budget by 2,955 crores. Is that what the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi's
Jal
deference
Shakti.
and his insistence and his gravitas on the water problem in this country is all about?
Okay. Mr. Scindia, good to talk.
Exports grew by 393%
Yes.
over the 10-year period under the UPA. Today they are growing at 26%, 1/15th the growth rate. So these are the issues that we need to grapple with. Petrol and diesel prices have been increased by 2 rupees. That's going to lead to inflation. That's going to lead to a fall in consumption. As every middle class family's budget gets squeezed, the farmers are going to undergo hardship because of that. These are all issues that we need to grapple with. As Mr. Sitharaman said, we would have abolished the APMC Act. We would have made sure that petrol and diesel prices are in line with international prices. That is, every time that there is a rise, the prices go up. Every time there's a fall, the prices fall. That's not happening in India. When oil prices have fallen from $120 a barrel to $60 a barrel, the Indian consumer is not getting the benefit of that.
Well, that
The
includes
refining companies are getting the benefit of that.
Congress
The
governments
government
as well,
executive
which
is
have taken
getting the
advantage. I take your point. I take all the points. You've been very hard hitting. You've given us your
Again, let's
perspective.
not look in the rearview mirror. When you look at a 1 lakh crore target for disinvestment, and you make sure that LIC is the major buyer in all transactions, is that actually disinvestment? When you talk about recapitalizing banks at 70,000 crores and spending 100,000 crores in terms of getting money back from delinquent companies,
Right.
we are not talking about the 5 lakh crores that this government has written off in terms of bad loans. So when you are presenting facts, don't be economical with the truth.
Okay.
Make sure that you are transparent. And what also surprised me today is that there was no reference in this budget statement and budget speech, Rajdeep, towards any total revenue numbers, total expenditure numbers, fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, the roadmap of next year. This is the least that people of India expect when an accounting statement is put on the table of the House. Not
Okay.
every person of 125 crore Indians has the ability to go through the budget statement and find those figures in the statement.
Let's leave it there, Mr. Scindia. I think you've given us your critique of the budget, and it's been a very erudite critique. We're going to get the government to respond to it in a moment, but I appreciate your joining us here on this special show, Rating the Budget. Thank you very much for joining me on Rate the Budget.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.